welcome to another episode of Life Changers, and this is Mike, and I'm talking into a mic. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's listening and for all our emails we've been getting and feedback. It's really fun, and if ever you want to shoot us some feedback or give us a topic to talk about, or if you want to be interviewed, if you want to share your story, reach out to us, let us know. Maybe we can have you on the show, and we can interview you, and you can share your story with the world and how you're changing your life and using some of the methods and some other methods that you might want to share with everybody as well. But today we're going to talk about just being happy. You know how hard it is just to be happy with what you have. We're always looking for the next thing. My wife always looks at me and goes, hey, you're always like wanting more. And we're just sitting here in the studio talking about different things and things that, just my wife and I are just going with the flow. I guess like a fun fact is like we've been homeschooling for the last many years. It seems like eternity. But for a lot, like, I don't know, at least 6-7 years. And it's really stressful when you're running companies and homeschooling and then all this stuff. So we recently found, I guess, a Montessori school is what it's called. So we put our kids in there to try it out. It just really popped out of nowhere. We're just going with the flow. Like my wife looked many times. Every few years, we're kind of like, maybe it'd be better if we put our kids in school. But we like to travel. We wanted to. Back in 2018, we started going to Florida and staying there for 5-6 months out of the year and spending the rest of the year in Canada and going back and forth. And it was amazing. Met a lot of amazing people and stuff like that. But then in 2020, we got really busy with the company that I've been sticking around here. We're doing a lot of the work. I've been driving a lot of the trucks and doing all the commercial contracts and just doing a lot of work and restructuring the company. But anyway, so every few years we're kind of like, oh, let's look for the school. So we found a thing called Forest School one year, and we tried it with the kids, and it didn't really work out. But then this last as time goes on, we're more and more trying to just go with the flow, trust the universe, surrender, and just let things happen and go with what feels right. And then one day my wife was just like looking on her phone, and then she was like, hey, I found this school. She's like, I swear, it never existed before, because we looked and we looked and we looked, and then all of a sudden, now the school exists, and apparently it's been here for a while. So my wife's like, hey, we'll reach out to them. So we reached out. They said, yeah, bring your kids in for a day, see how they like it. And we're like, cool, we could try the week. So we paid for the week and see if our kids like it. But you have to understand, I had a bad experience in school. If you follow the podcast, you'll know that I don't like school, but, many people have a good experience. My wife had, I guess, a different bad experience in the sense of, like, she was really stressed about being perfect in school. Like, she would write a report and then rewrite her report, then have a draft of a draft of a draft of a draft before she even sends it in to school. So, like, her whole life was just, like, being perfect at school, because people projected onto her, like, oh, you're really smart, you're really good at all this stuff, so, like, you're going to do, and then she felt like, oh, I have to be perfect at everything, right? And it's kind of, I tell her it's her fault, but, people projecting their issues onto her, and then she was like, oh, I guess I am amazing at it, good at everything, but she worked really, really hard. Like, even points when, like, she would go give a talk at a seminar or something, and she would really study and prepare everything, and then she'd give her talk or the seminar, and then I sometimes would go after her and be the closing key speaker, keynote speaker or something, and then I never planned anything. She's like, hey, tomorrow we're going to this event and we're doing that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. She's like, so did you prepare anything? I'm like, yeah. It's all in my head, right? And then I go and do my just talk and let it flow and stuff, and everybody just comes up to us and they're like, oh, Mike, you did such an amazing job. I really liked how you talked about this, and you talked on this, and it just really connected. And then my wife's just sitting there like, she's prepared for like a month. I felt bad. And then they're like, oh yeah, you did good too. My wife's like, oh. She really resented me for being able to just nonchalant, whatever. I'll get her done, figure it out. Even when I was younger and I'd do stand-up comedy, I wouldn't prepare a show. I'd just go out there, talk, and feed off the crowd, and it was usually pretty good. I don't think I bombed really. See, in studio, I bomb sometimes, but you don't hear it because we delete it. You should have seen us trying to prepare the first thing. We're supposed to talk about projecting, and then we went off the wall, so we didn't record anything. And an hour later, now I'm here. I am trying to record. But anyways, so out of nowhere, the school just magically appeared. So the kids seem to really like it. And, we homeschool our kids for a long time. And we're not homeschooling them in the sense like, don't go out and talk to people. No, like we're part of a homeschooling group. We go out and, for a while there, we were going on every Wednesday was like beach day. And all the homeschooling group would meet at the beach. And they'd go play and have fun. And the moms could hang out and do their thing. And, they go to different things. They go to like Butterfly Conservatory. So it's really active, right? It's actually a lot more work than just putting your kids in school. But I had a bad experience. My wife had a bad experience. So we kind of projected our issues onto the kids about how horrible school is. So we were worried that they might not want to go to school because, we made it seem so evil, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so when we put them in, they're like, wow, this is fun. I have a lot of fun. It's better than, and we set up like a homeschooling section in the warehouse and stuff like that in our office. And anyways, make a long story short, it's all worked out. We're just going with the flow. Kids love it. And yeah, it's an added expense because it's like a private school, semi-private, I guess. I'm not sure, but I don't know. It's not as expensive as you would think with private school. And, my wife and I were like looking at our budget, like, we got to figure things out. We got to do this. But I'm like, meh, you know what I come to realize? I've been trying to like run on like, I want to see like, hundreds of thousands in the bank, 500,000 or 1 million in their company accounts, look at it and be like, yeah, look at all that. I made that. Right. And I'm trying to chase, which I'm not supposed to. We talk about just don't chase, just let it come and relax. Be happy where you are. But it always seems like I'm chasing to the next thing. So I get what I want, and then I chase to the next one. Then I get what I want, then I chase, and I just keep on going. I want more, 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 I want more. And then your mind explodes. So we should just take a step back. And I know I mentioned it a few times, but just be grateful for what we have. Like I come to realize that it doesn't matter what expenses we add to our lives for whatever. It always seems like I have enough to do it. And it doesn't seem like the money never changes. I add an expense, I still have the same amount of money. I add in a monthly expense, I still have the same. So I should be grateful that the universe is hooking me up, that no matter what, I don't notice a change. I'm not strapped for cash or worried. And stop chasing like, oh, I want to see all this mountain of gold. I want to be Scrooge McDuck, and jump into my loonies and toonies. A loonie is $1 in Canada, and a toonie is $2. Those coins hurt when you flick them at somebody. But yeah, like I'm always chasing and trying to get more and more and more. But we all do it. I'm sure we all do it. Like I'm sure there's people right now listening. You were listening right there. Yeah, you listening right there in your car driving, or you sitting at your desk listening, or you just listening on the bus or on the subway, the metro, whatever. You probably experienced this. You're looking back going, oh, I see what he means, because you really want stuff and then you get it. But then you're always looking ahead and ahead and ahead. So it's a big thing where we're always looking for the next thing. So it's either we're living in the past and we just sit around going, oh, my glory days. I would rock climb 200 feet, free climb it. I was amazing. And that's all I talk about. But in reality, right now, I'm just sitting around doing nothing. I'm just living in my past. And then we have a group that there's the group that lives in the past, and then you have the group that lives like us, like me, just, I want more. Next thing. And we're living way in the future. That both of them are stopping us from progressing. It's crazy to think that I realize that both of them is stopping us from progressing. It's, I'm projecting that I don't have enough right now. I need to get more. I never have enough. I need to get more and never have enough. But I sit back and realize that it doesn't matter. Like, I really, all these monthly payments, and, sending my kids to school now and I got to pay for it. And I don't have a brand new truck. I own my truck. Like, it's a 2005 F-250. I mentioned it a few times. It's my first truck. I like it. And I fixed it up, and it's really nice, and it runs perfect, and I own it. But I used to be like, oh, cash life, screw the banks. They're ripping us off. And stop doing this. I don't need their money and do make my own cash, right? But, in business and in realizing like I'm missing opportunities of, taking the bank's money, using their low interest rates and use it to my advantage and growing stuff. But we'll talk about that in a later episode. But there's a lot of missed opportunities there. So I know and I realize now that just got to relax, stop worrying, don't worry, be happy, Bob Marley. But just we got to not worry about things and stop stressing. And then a lot of stress, a big stress right now in our modern world is probably money. I say it's a big stress. A lot of people think about it. A lot of people spend their time budgeting. You know what? I know I mentioned it before, but I don't sit there and go, okay, this is how much I need to make, and this is all my expenses, and da 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 da. For me, I don't do that. Because for me, I find if I do all that, then I'm wasting a lot of time and a lot of energy, and I'm focusing on like, okay, we really got to be careful because like money's hard to make, and that's the energy I'm going to put in the universe is money's so hard, and there's no money for everybody. Just the money's for the elites, it's for the rich, it's not for me. Oh no, right? And then I'm going to end up being the usual statistic where I'm just stressed and worried about money all the time. So I don't waste my time doing that, and for me it works. I know it might sound crazy or stupid to some people, but literally for me, I don't stress about it. And yeah, I think about it a lot going, okay, and my wife says, calm down, relax. I'm always like, okay, we have these trucks doing all this work. We have these areas covered and we do all this crazy fun stuff and all this. So let's add this. Let's add this service to them and this service and this. And she's like, just relax, calm down. I'm like, I'm just trying to find ways to make money. And, my excuse is like, I just want to make money to do good, right? I want to make all this money. And that's why I'm trying to make money so I can give it away. Like I see people doing on TikTok, like I see Mr. Beast doing on YouTube. And I see all these people just going around giving out $500, $1,000, $10,000 to people that like really need it and change their lives and help them and motivate them. And I'm just thinking, oh, see, how come the universe not giving me? Because I'm going to do so much good. Right? It's like, relax, calm down. I know for a fact that if I just stop worrying and stop focusing on like, I need to do this to make more. I want to be able to take care of my parents, take care of my in-laws, pay for everything and do all this stuff, right? Just relax, calm down, trust the universe. And everything will be okay, not worry. At least for me, that's what I do. That's what I need to do. Because I'm always focused on, hey, we made this level. I want to make this level and make this level, right? And I look back at all, this stuff. And I was just saying to my wife the other day, I'm like, hey, like we work so hard for all these contracts and we're doing all this work and it takes us like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks sometimes, and we make, $5,000, $10,000 for the company or $20,000 for the company. How some people just do that in one day. And I'm like, one day we'll look back at all this and be like, we worked, we used to be stressed and working for that. Now it's just every day it's coming in and every whatever. Now we have the structure and all this stuff, right? But just be happy where you are now. Be grateful for what you have. And I know that everything I want and that I'm projecting in the world will come to pass. That I got to stop focusing on I need, because that shows the lack thereof. And that's just going to give me more lack thereof. And then all these things are not going to work out. And, just the other day, for years. So when I first started, I'm right now, I've been married for 16 years. We're going on 17 years this year in 2023. And I used to say to my wife now, but girlfriend at the time, be like, hey, check this out. Every time I go somewhere, like a restaurant or whatever, even if they tell me it's been really slow, it's going to get busy. And she's like, oh, yeah, why? Because I'm like, I don't know. I just give good energy. People like being around me. She's like, why am I dating this guy so egotistic? But then it's the good vibes, the good energy. We go into these restaurants and I'll be like, hey, has it been slow today? And the waitress or the waiters was like, yeah, it's been slower than usual for today. I don't know. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. You're going to get busy. I'm sorry. And they're like, oh, man, that'll be cool. Ha, ha, ha. Sure enough. I look around, as we're eating and stuff. I'm like, and the waiter or waitress comes back. I'm like, yeah. They're like, do you know all these people? I'm like, no, it just happens. I go places, and then it's just like as if I give out good energy and stuff, and then it's just like more people come by. And then my wife would be, after a while, she's like, there's something to this. And then she would be like, okay, let's try to find a restaurant that's really slow and see if it happens. And we do it, and it just happened. And I just, so coincidence, right? No, I just tell myself, oh, it's the good energy. People feel the energy, and they feel the happiness, the goodness. They feel the excitement. Because I'm a simple person. When I was like 14, 15 years old, I sat in one of my friend's cars, like his dad's car, and it had those on the buttons on the seat, and you could push it, and it like lowers you, makes you taller, shorter, moves forward and back, and you don't have to like do it yourself. It's all like electronic, right? Boop, boop. And I was just sitting there for like, oh, this is so fun. Yes, that's how poor I was. But like the simplest things make me happy, and I just love life, love. I just love people. I trust people, and just be happy, be amazing, right? Anyway, so I'm sitting there, and after a while, I was looking at my wife like, we seem to attract all these people, but yet I can't attract people for my own business. See, right now I'm putting out the energy, lack thereof, that, I'm telling myself that I could help all these other people, their businesses, and have good energy, and I could talk to people, motivate them, and help them with their companies. But then when it comes to mine, oh no, and hey, it's all back to pre-programming, because there's been times and incidents, like everybody always tells you, like, a shoemaker will have really bad shoes. A really good shoemaker will have bad shoes because he's so busy, he's making everybody else's shoes, right? Or a web developer in our days will never have the time to make his website look really good because he's too busy making your website look good, right? And that's what they tell you, right? Oh, you'll never have time for yourself because you're doing such a good job, right? But I don't know. I'm able to attract people to like restaurants or other theme parks or whatever. Then how come I can't attract them to myself, right? Well, because I'm probably putting out energy there of not positive, right? Probably putting out negative energy or lack thereof, or, poor me. How come I could do all this, but I can't do it for myself, right? And I'm probably too busy chasing and not being grateful for what I get. So just take the time to be grateful and relax and just be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm grateful for everything I have. I'm grateful for where I am at. And let's see where it goes next. It's just like in the book, The Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer, how he didn't want to be successful. He just wanted to be in the woods, meditate, and that's it, right? That was the pinnacle of life for him. And then the universe is like, no, go over here, do this. Oh, watch this, go over here, do that. And it's true, because you see that in a lot of people, right? Just like we mentioned before, a lot of people that win the lottery, it's like, oh, I never buy a ticket. I just went in and like, meh, I'll buy a ticket, whatever. And they win. And it's like, oh, right? Or if you ever have that buddy when you're playing pool or bowling who just doesn't care and just throws the ball or hits the ball with the pool cue, and he always seems to make these amazing shots, and he's just like, meh, whatever, I don't care. Because he really doesn't care. That it's just whatever. And then I don't know. It just seems to work for him. And I'm like, I'm trying so hard, to show off. I'm trying to get strikes and do bowling or playing pool and trying to get all these cool trick shots in. And then I just keep on sucking. But then the moment I'm like, you know what? I'm not trying anymore. Who cares? Just surrender, relax, just play, have fun. Who gives whatever? And if you get a good shot, be like, oh, cool, yeah. And then I seem to do better. So for me, what works for me is instead of chasing, instead of wanting the next thing, I should just sit back, relax, be happy, and just stop projecting my issues of like, I need more on my company or on people around me, and just be like, I have everything I need. And it's funny because like when I was younger, when I first started my company, when I was like 18, 19 years old, my older brother taught me like, hey, like when you're doing business, you want to look the part, be the part, act the part, fake it till you make it. And that's how it works. And it's like, oh, well, when I was younger, I used to be like, oh yeah, I'm amazing. Look, I could do all this stuff. I own the company, blah, 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 right? And now when I'm on the road, people are like, oh, like you work for this company? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm just a truck driver. I just drive a truck. They're a good company. I like them. Good boss. And I'm not trying to like, fluff myself up and be like, oh, look how amazing I am. I'm just, I find myself kind of dumbing it down a little bit. And sometimes like people around me like, why do you do that? Just tell them you own the company and be all like, look at me. But I don't care. It's funny. I spent a lot of my teenage years, young adult life, just running around trying to get, hey, look at me. I'm amazing. I'm successful. Woohoo. Right? And now that I'm successful and doing what I want and just whatever, I'm just kind of like, just whatever. Like, but I should be more grateful. And I believe that if, you're probably looking at yourself going, yeah, there's times where I could be like more appreciative or grateful for everything I have. Because like, I don't know, it's funny, right? Like, no matter how much you chase, no matter how much you dream or want, like, I even put it like, I got good intentions. I know the secrets of the universe. I could figure it all out, right? But even I'm still working out my issues, right? Still doing my thing and trying to learn. And that's why I made this podcast. It's just like, hey, this is a hack I found or a secret I found that works for me, like in practical terms. And, eventually we get more and more feedback from people. And eventually I'll have episodes where I'm reading the emails and answering questions. We're going to be starting to interview people more and more. I think it'll be funner, more interactive, because I feed off the energy when I'm with people having a good conversation, I find. And then you guys will be like, oh, this is a new level of life changers. And then eventually, do live shows. But I got to stop running too fast and just let the universe take its time and do its thing. It's funny because like with my brand that, I mentioned in one of my podcasts how I manifested my company. In 2019, I manifested like another trade name and thing like that, and it just blew up and went crazy. And then I was like, oh, right. But then I started running faster than I could walk. I should just let it happen. Relax. Just listen, to your still small voice, your gut, listen to the universe, to God, whatever, right? And see what you need to do next to keep the momentum going instead of trying to take control. Every time I try to take control and I'm like, okay, I'm taking control. I know what to do. I know best, right? And then it just like fall on my face. And that's how it's been going for me. And I see the circle and I see the cycle, and I used to blame outside sources, right? I'd blame other people. Oh, it's because of this person, or I did this, right? No, I'm taking responsibility. Things didn't work out because I didn't let it work out. I try to take control. I try to do, I know better, right? And you heard it many times in my different podcasts, my different episodes. And every now and again, you hear me talking about stuff like this, going just like, I'm going to take control. I know what I'm doing, right? Well, like with my first company, I got $500,000 of contracts for the year. And I already got a deposit on all these contracts. Like, oh, I'm amazing. Oh, I know better, and I start trying to take control and throw away, the universe or God or, my soul, and just be like, I know what I'm doing. I'm not listening to you anymore. I made it. I'm the best, right? And then I fall on my face. And then I see the cycle. So now I just got to sit back, understand the cycle, and see how to change it. And like in another episode, we'll talk about projecting. And I noticed like I project my issues outwards on people. So if ever you're being annoyed with somebody, and you find like just something bugs you about them, well, maybe it's because you're more similar than you think. Maybe you're like, oh, this person's weird because that he says all the time like, oh, I'm always sick, or I'm always negative because that's just the way I am. I'm always this way and you're looking at him going, hey, you're only that way because you believe you're supposed to be that way and you're projecting that way. And so therefore you're attracting it and therefore, trying to, right. But maybe there's something there. Right. And then for me, I notice when I'm talking to people and there's something that just annoys me and I'm like, wait a minute, let's see what the similarity is that's bugging me, because there's something too familiar here. And then I'm going to look inward and see what it is. And then when you could figure that out, and then you could try to hack it and just self-project all this love and compassion and amazingness for everybody. Because I notice too, a lot of things that work for me is when I'm, let's say, I mentioned going to the casino a few times. When I go to a casino, and I'm there having a good time. So here's a fun fact. I went to the casino not too long ago again. And usually, and you hear my stories, right? How I would play the machines, and I always win on the machines, and I always do pretty well on the machines. And there's times where I lost everything on the machines. But in the, my profit losses, I have more of a profit than a loss. But I'm learning things that, when I become greedy or become like a pompous, like, oh, I'm amazing. Now I'm going to get this, and because I'm so cool. And now people are gathering. I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm amazing. Look at me. Right? And then I lose it all that I won that day. And then I go to the some tables you hear me talk about. Sometimes I go to the table, play, 3-card poker or Ultimate Texas Hold'em or something. And, sometimes people would be like, hey, you always seem to lose the table. And you say you go to a machine to win, or do you really? Do you go to the ATM machine? That's the joke, right? And then I go, oh, watch, I'll go to this casino machine right here, the slot machine right here beside the table. And I play and hit a jackpot, come back to the table and lose. Well, this time when I went to the casino, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to win when I go to the 3-card poker table. I'm going to sit there. I sit down and these guys are like, oh, we're doing really well. So, well, let me know when I can join the table. Courtesy, right? These two guys are winning and they're up and I don't want to ruin the cards for them, right? I'm like, just let me know when it's okay for me to come in. And then they started losing. They're like, yeah, it's okay for you to come in. And I was playing the table and this guy was just like, looking at my hands going, it's amazing. He goes, we just went through 10 hands right now. And every single hand, you always had 2 pair. Like, with my cards and the dealer cards and stuff like that. He's like, I just don't understand. Like, if you were playing, Texas Hold'em, you're going to kill every single hand. I said, maybe I should. But they don't have Texas Hold'em at this casino. I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever, And then I used to bet, as I bet conservative, the table minimum on all the little things. Then I started being a little, like, just going with the flow, just trying. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to double the bet, do this, and do this. I've seen this on YouTube. And then I hit all these things. And then I'm like, I don't feel like I should be doubling up anymore, so I don't. And this guy's like, how do you know what's going on? Like, you seem to double up. And you hit all these, like, the 6-card or the pair plus and all these things, and you're winning all these side bets like really well. Like, what's going on? I said, oh, just doesn't matter, right? I'm here to have fun. I'm talking to people, and just having a great time. I said, the trick is not caring about winning. I said, look, you were winning before I sat down. You blame me now for coming to the table, I bet, subconsciously. And the guy looks at me, what do you mean? I said, you're probably blaming me because you used to have a lot of chips, and now you're down to practically nothing. So is it my fault? Is it the bad energy, that I bring to the table? Or you're like, oh, he came in, the cards are different or whatever, right? But yet I'm winning a lot of the hands, right? So I said, so, you're thinking that, right? That I'm the table cooler? Well, I'm like, yeah, but look, the difference is, you started winning, then you tried to take control of the table and you started carrying, and now you're like, oh, I'm really good at this. And I watched you. You started doubling your bet. You were doing like 100 on each spot, like 400 a hand, and then it's just right. I said, I learned that the hard way. I learned the hard way that when I try to take control and try to think I'm doing amazing or I'm good at this, no, throw all that out the window. Just don't care. Let whatever happens, happens. And I know for a fact for me, I'm not here to gamble. I'm just here to have fun and play. And I'm always going to be on top because that's how it works for me. And the guy was like, okay. And then eventually they left the table and I was still playing and I did all right. I didn't lose, right? This is the first time playing tables and not losing and I actually made a profit. And then the next day we went for lunch and then I said, I'll try a little bit at the table. And I was sitting in the middle of the table, and the hands were going my way. Where everybody's like, "Oh, wow, you took a good spot! Like, wow, you're winning everything, right?" And then a guy left because he was like, "Well, I gotta go. I'm losing." And then I was like, "Well, I'm gonna move over to have more thing." And then there's this girl that want to sit down, and then she took the middle seat. And the guy's like, "Oh, look, you're giving her the middle seat. She's gonna win." I said, "Good." I said, "I want everybody to win." I said, "I'm not here to take all the money and run. I want everybody to win. I want good vibes for everybody." I said, there's more than enough for everybody. I said, I probably made enough yesterday. And I'm already up today. I'm just here to play for a little bit and prove to myself that I could win at tables no matter what. Because I did it with slot machines. And then, And then, yeah, sure enough, the girl in the middle was like, I never win all this time. I said, that's amazing. We're high-fiving. And she's like, this is, at first she was quiet. And then she started like being bubbly. And like, me and the other guys just like, look, you win again, right? And then he would win if I would win. And we're all winning. And I'm like, everybody's winning, yeah. We're like just having a great time, right? And I would tell her, like, the trick is, and I said, do you care about winning or anything? She's like, no, I don't even know how to play this game. She's just like, I just figured I see high numbers, I play. I don't. She's like, I'm like, that's how you play. I said, you don't care. Don't try to figure it out. Just go with your gut and you're going to be winning. And the guy's just like, what? You're crazy. You should stay there. I said, look, I'm going to win what I need to win. Doesn't matter where I sit at the table. The cards are going to go my way. But I want the cards to go your way too. I want to go everybody's way. I want everybody to win. So in a nutshell, we just got to, see the, instead of projecting negative outwards and getting annoyed with people, like instead of being this guy, like, oh, well, yeah, I moved seats and this girl took my spot and now she's winning and oh, that was my seat, instead of being grumpy like that, right? And then I would lose everything because that's just how it works. That's the law of attraction for you. At least that's my experiences for me, is that every time you try to take control, right? So just stop taking control, just relax, and project positive. Project love, kindness, compassion, project success for everybody. And then you and everybody around you will be happy and more successful. If you don't believe me, try it. I say right now, write this down. Try to reverse the negative energy that you put out when we project, and project positivity and project love, and that you want everybody to be successful. And even me in business, I used to be like, oh, I taught this guy and he's more successful than me. Like, what the heck? Why is he more successful than me? Or I bring a friend to the casino and they make more money than me. I'm like, well, they're doing better than me. Right? Instead of being that way, I used to be that way. Right? Because it just seems to be that's the programming we are. So now I'm changing now more like, yeah, you're doing amazing. And then people around me are doing amazing. And then I start doing good. And I'm like, wow. Instead of me going, oh, wow, you won 10 grand. That should have been mine. Right? You did 10. That's amazing. Like, now it's my turn. Let's win 10 grand too. Right? Let's win this. Let's win that. Or, in business or just in life in general, just everybody being happy and just look around and smile and just be like, hey, you're having a great day, and just have that positive energy. And then that will change your life. And you change your life for the positive, and it'll change your life. Instead of being, the victim of the world or the victim of yourself, why not you just be the creator and be the one that recognizes, aha, yes, I choose not to be negative. I choose not to be the victim in this situation. I choose this. I choose that. And be positive. And then more positivity will come your way, and more good energy and the flow and stuff. Yeah, it might be hard at first, right? Sometimes you'd be like, oh, doesn't matter how much good energy I put out, there's always negative coming my way. Well, yeah, because you're expecting it to, right? It tells you yin and yang, right? Oh, every time there's something positive, the negative has to hit, and then, oh no, or if there's negative, then, I should be able to dig myself out for a positive, but then I'm going to get negative again. It's just a never-ending cycle. Well, you could choose to end that cycle, and you could choose to break the chains, and you could choose to be, no, I want to be the positive life. And yeah, sometimes life drags you down, and you're just going to be like, I'm just going to do whatever I need to do to make it back to being positive. Either listen to some life changers with Mike, you can listen to some good music if that gets you going, you can listen to it in podcasts or IAMs or anything like that will help pump you back up and bring you back up, instead of being like, oh, I lost all my energy because I had to be negative, and negative so much power over me, and oh no, I'm gonna take me a week to get back to being more. No, you can choose to be like, no, push that negative out, positive in, and let's get back the mojo. Let's get back the flow. Just like at the beginning of this podcast, when I first started recording, we were all over the place. I felt like I was struggling, and I was looking for words and trying to like, oh, I'm going to force something good out today. I'm taking control. And then it was crap. And, it's my fault. It's not your fault. It's my fault. It's not the technician's fault. It's my fault, right? Because I let it bug me, or I let it help me lose concentration and all that. But I didn't have a good vibe to begin with. And now we're like, okay, let's just try to spit one out here. And it became a pretty good podcast, I think. So don't try to control And I'm kind of saying this over and over because I need to hear it, And then some people, if you guys will be listening and some other people will be listening and be like, yeah, we need to hear that too. So I'm just telling you what I need to hear. I even listen to my own podcast, and my wife's and my kids are like, why are you listening to your podcast? You're so egotistic listening to yourself. I'm like, you know what? This guy has said some good stuff. He has something going there for him, right? And sometimes when I'm like, feel like I need like an energy boost, sometimes I listen to the Life Changers, and I listen to it. And I don't listen to it like, oh, that's me. I'm listening to it because I want to hear and feel what I need to hear that day. The message that I was speaking to myself by putting out these podcasts, and I listen to it, and I'm like, I needed that energy boost, right? Just like the I ams, if you were to record your own I am and write out the I ams that you want, and you read it to yourself and put music to it and all this stuff, it'll be so much more powerful than if you hear me doing an I am. That's just the way it is. It's better to hear from yourself than from a stranger, right? But yet we can listen to other people and it'll help us. But if you listen to yourself, I guarantee you'll be 100, maybe 1,000% stronger and better for you. So just know that when I do these podcasts and I get a good flow and a good rhythm, it's me not trying and not caring. I'm just going to let the flow and just say whatever comes to mind and just say whatever needs to be said. And at a later time, I'll listen to it when I need to hear it. Or at a later time, you guys will listen to it and be like, I need to hear that. This is what I need to hear. This is what's going to change my life. And that's what Life Changer is all about. Life Changer is here to help everybody change their life and realize that you are in complete control of your life and your reality and everything that comes your way. You choose to accept negativity. You choose to accept positivity. You choose to let things bring you down. You choose to believe that, bad things come in 3. So something bad now, there's going to be 2 more bad things before things are going to get better for me. So, no, right? You choose whatever is coming your way. And I just want you to know that it's all up to you. You have the power and the ability to choose what you want, to get what you want, and you choose what you believe or what you don't believe, and what you let into your reality, what you don't let into your reality. You choose what people you let in, what people say, and if you choose to let it affect you, be like, what he says hurt, right? You choose. Just you. It's all about you. Has nothing to do with people around you, with your surroundings. It's you attracting things. It's you that are controlling your reality. When you realize that you control everything and you can choose to be happy no matter what, Kuna Matata, man. You're going to be like me, puppies and rainbows all the time. Right? You're going to be always happy and just uplifting and just wanting to help people and just uplifting people, and you'll just feel people and you'll feel the energy around them, and you'll be like, hey, this person needs to hear a message today. And you might just be like, oh, this is weird, but I'm just going to say this, and go up to this guy and be like, or this girl or this person and be like, hey, you need to hear this, and this is what it, blah, blah, blah. And you will not understand the effect that will have on that person, but it could change their life. I've experienced it, I see it, and that when you get the flow and the energy of life, and you know that it's all about you, that you control everything in your personal reality and in your life, and that, we're all co-creators. That's another thing we should be talking about. And when we start bringing people in interviews, you're going to understand more. But there's co-creators. We all can create together. How somebody at work will have bad energy, bad vibes, and that'll bring the whole workforce down. But if you bring out the good energy and the good vibes, you can help that person and bring it back up the energy, and the whole workforce will be, it'll be a great day at work. So you're going to be like, another miserable day. It's Monday. Crazy crap happens on Monday. Everything nuts is going to happen because it's Monday. Then you're always going to have crazy stuff happening in your life on Monday if that's what you expect. If you expect that, every time I do something, this it happened once and now it's going to be the norm. And then every time I do that thing, is we have to get through this. This crazy stuff's going to happen. Then it's going to get better. And that's exactly what you're going to create. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's up to you to say, hey, you know what? No matter what I do, life is amazing. Life is good. We're just going to have a great time. And even if some bad stuff comes, there's an experience in there for me to have. So here's a short story before I wrap it up. I'm just feeling the flow and the energy right now, and I just want to run with it. But many years ago, I'm driving up in the Arctic, and this trucker's like, hey, and I used to go to the Arctic through the Quebec side. I go to James Bay, Hudson's Bay, Quebec. And then now I move my office in Ontario. We go through the Ontario side, and then I jump into Quebec and I go up through a town called Amos, Quebec. And then we head north. And we go to James Bay, Hudson's Bay. And I was talking to a guy, and I'm like, hey, is this way faster that I see on the map, or should I go this way that looks longer? He goes, no, go this way. It's a lot faster. Trust me, man. So I go that way. And it seemed faster a little bit at first. After about 400 kilometers, I get to a point where I need to turn left, and the road was gone. I'm looking around, and it's like the road got washed away. I couldn't turn. I couldn't go straight to turn left. I'm like, what? I was pissed off. I was livid. I'm thinking right away, oh, I'm going to have to drive the 4 hours back and then loop around and come right back up. And that's just another 10 hours. And I'm flipping out and bleh, right? All this negative energy. And then I put in my GPS on my phone. I'm like, well, just put in GPS. And I saw this thing on the map. And I'm like, oh, look over here. Looks like a logging road or a hunting road or something, or off-roading. So I take off. I'm like, oh, it's only 4 or 5 kilometers. Great. So I drove up, and then I see the turnoff. I turn off into the woods, and it looks a little sketchy. And I'm angry and pissed off, right? And instead of enjoying the moment, I was driving in the woods, driving down through rivers, like little ravines, going up rocky sides, and we're literally off-road 4x4 trucking with a truck with like 40, 50,000 pounds of equipment. And we're literally driving in the woods on like ATV roads or something. I don't know what it was, but the GPS seemed to think it was a real road. But then we finally get to our hotel really late. It should have been a quick day, but no, right? I'm just angry and pissed off. And the person that was with me, there was bad energy. We're all just pissed off and angry, right? But then I stopped and relaxed, and I got back to being my, the happy-go-lucky Mike that everybody comes to love and know. And then I was just like, I wasted that. I let that pass. I'm pissed off now that I let that opportunity pass me by. You know how amazing that would have been? Like, I videotaped it, make a TikTok out of it. TikTok wasn't a thing, right? And back then, that's how old I am. No, but yeah. It was a missed opportunity. I could have enjoyed it. Right? So even though sometimes something happens, you're like, oh no, it's just the universe telling you, slow down, smell the roses, and enjoy this, because you're going to have a story to tell. Because I try to go around, giving people stories to tell. I go like, oh, this is going to be amazing. Here's $100 tip. And they're like, oh, right. And I'm like, they're going to have a good story to tell. But yeah, I think that's the way the universe to be like, whoa, slow down, relax, enjoy what's going on. I didn't think I was going to get stuck in driving through these rivers or ravines and stuff. I didn't think I was going to get stuck anywhere. I knew I was going to make it to my destination, but I was just angry that I got into that situation instead of enjoying it. So just enjoy what comes your way and look for the positive and look for the amazing story that you're going to have and the opportunities and the things you're going to see. And you could be like, wow, that was a great opportunity, right? That whatever the situation is that you're in, you got to experience something new, something amazing. So if you're on a trip somewhere and the bus breaks down in the middle of a crazy area, just relax, enjoy the moment, meet the locals, have fun. Happened to me when I was in Cuba. And I was like, people are like, oh, we're not going to make our flight. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, whatever. I'm going to go over there. I want to get a Coca-Cola bottle and a glass bottle. It's probably going to cost me like a, peso or something. And the locals were really nice. Instead of being like, oh no, the locals are going to hurt us, right? No, they're all nice, being amazing, nice people. And just, I'm giving good vibes and happy, right? So, needless to say, it's all about you. You control everything in your reality, in your world. And choose to be happy and relax. Enjoy the moments. Enjoy life. Enjoy how beautiful the sunrises are, the sunsets are. Enjoy the amazing times with your kids now instead of being like, oh, I can't wait till they're older. Oh, they're stressing me out. Oh, right? I do that all the time. Trust me. Right? Just enjoy, understand, and just feel and let just the good energy flow and just enjoy everything. So just remember that, we are all a work in progress, and it does take one day at a time. It really does. We just got to get there, right? I'm not going to be a millionaire tomorrow. You're not going to be the best manifester in the universe tomorrow, but you will get there, and you will be there. And then you're going to help change people's lives by telling them your story and how they can do the same thing. And people notice that your energy is changing and shifting, and that you're more positive, and that you're going to be getting everything you want, and whatever you say happens. Because it's true. So only speak and bring into your reality positivity. Don't let all that negative of the world come in, and don't let it flow through you and that you start creating it in your reality. And then all the co-creators around you start feeling the same energy and they start creating. And then before you know it, we're just all going to be in a negative place. Let's just create happiness and teach everybody to create happiness and love and compassion. I love each and every one of you. And everybody has a story to tell. So please send us an email if you want me to talk about your story, if you want to share us your story. It's lifechangersmike@gmail.com. We have it written in our descriptions on all our podcasts. So if you're listening on a podcast or on Audible or anything like that, you'll see it there. You can click it. Send us an email. Tell us what's going on in your life. If you need something uplifting, we could talk to you about it. We'll make a podcast all around it for you and bring in other people. And if you're interested in being on the podcast, just reach out to us. And as we start building, and we're going to start communicating, creating our reality. We are doing that, but creating our community, and that we could start doing more and more and have people on here and then just uplifting the world together. So I love everybody. Thank you very much for listening to Mike with Life Changers. And you have an amazing, wonderful day. And just remember, it is with you. You are creating your reality. And I love you. Have a good one. Later.